Hardman says now people are worried about upsetting the king. They know he can get very cross about minor things, and they have yet to find out how he will react in certain situations. At the same time, they know that Queen Camilla, Queen Consort Camilla, or really Princess Consort Camilla, is a strong voice of common sense in that regard. The king's old university friend, Lord Shart, adds, that's one of the reasons why Queen Consort Camilla is so marvelous. She can be robust in her views, and that allows him to relax. Oh, is she the daddy? So he can, so he can be a more passive, quiet, feminine person in her presence? Is that her special magic? Domination? When things go wrong and you have to keep being nice, you need an intimate who can talk you down. Is that what she does? She talks him down? They do say the mind is the largest sexual organ. Is it the mind or the ego? Let me know what you think. Camilla is indeed described as an intrinsically happy character. Having worked in kids' television and in Hollywood, happy is part of the act. You can be an MF with capital letters, but you better act happy, it's this corporate cheerfulness. Is this authentic? I've rarely seen her photographed or video recorded looking actually happy. I think she looks appropriate and behaves appropriately, but looking at the history of how she's behaved in her intimate life, it's not admirable, in my opinion, unless you are, someone with a taste for social climbing. She has got a great twinkle, and it comes out very readily, says the Marchioness of Lansdowne, one of her oldest friends. It puts people at their ease very quickly. She knows when to wink at a bishop, but when not to, which I think is rather an endearing quality. Oh, okay. Passing references or memos or questions to Her Majesty would meet with blank looks until it suddenly dawned that they were referring to her. No, I actually understand that, because for the past year, someone will say or write something about the Queen, and I'm like, wait, when did Queen Elizabeth II do that? Then it occurs to me that they're talking about Camilla. Anyway, they're laying it on pretty thick, which shows you which offices briefed Robert Hardman. And that's exactly it. They've taken control of the narrative. They know who to tell to give their version of the title, their version of the history, their version of why she's so endearing and such a crutch to Charles, because he's just so helpless. He can't function without her calming him down or being, dominant. What does she do? Order for him in restaurants? This book is heavily sourced from Buckingham Palace and Kensington Palace, which begs the question, why are they still trying to convince everyone that Queen Elizabeth II was incandescent with rage over her great-granddaughter's name? Also, Camilla would absolutely prefer for people to know her Lorraine nickname rather than the nickname Diana created for her, the Rottweiler. I'm sure. That's crazy. But, again, think about the photos we don't see. Think about the stories we don't hear. I wasn't aware of this princess consort business, but I know that we've kind of been taught to lapse over the consort part. She's not queen. She's the queen consort. God forbid something happens to King Charles while he's getting his prostate handled. But, this one is going for it. And she's bringing her own children and pushing Charles's children out the door. In America, we have a lot of soap operas. So we see how this works, right? Trying to have her kids, her relatives in the coronation and all of that when they don't belong. And I'm going to talk to this ex-husband and hear his account of how the decades-long campaign to land King Charles in her bed out in the open how that went for him and all the children they had. It's wild. But, the one thing I will say, to credit Queen Consort Camilla, is that old girl does not starve herself. She is not over there looking like the wind is going to break her in half. And, however she was able to cast her spell on Charles, she knew how to do it. I would love to know details and have a timeline, like, it's just a little gross how we get all this like hype about how wonderful and winking at the bishop and horse face and so elegant, so appropriate, where there's nothing appropriate about stealing another woman's husband, is there? You let me know in the comments.